Welcome to the Earn More, Stress Less podcast with me, Caro Syson, and my co-host for this season 2, Hayley Hudson. This podcast is for self-employed business owners just like you who really want to grow their business and become successful and profitable and without all the stress and hassle. We want to share over 50 years of our business experience to show you how simple it can be to earn more money and how you can get organised without needing a business degree or any other qualification. We'll be talking about the easy steps that you can put in place right now to start earning more money today and to help you get the business that you deserve and dream of. So without further ado, let's get started. This week's podcast is sponsored by Pocket PA, helping self-employed business owners to get organised, understand their finances and do their accounts all in one place using a powerful online tool. If you're serious about making a profit and having a successful business, then using a simple digital app like Pocket PA is the best way to grow and scale your business. Visit pocketpa.com for more details and start managing your money like a pro today. Hello and welcome to the Earn More, Stress Less podcast with me, Caro Syson, and my co-host, Hayley Hudson. Hi, Hayley.
Hi.
So today, Hayley and I are going to be talking about how to set up the best work hours to suit both your business and your lifestyle, because this isn't all just about serving your clients. I would imagine that you have set up your own business because you want some freedom, you want some flexibility. Perhaps you have moved it from a hobby into becoming an income producing business, and maybe you've set it up around your family. Maybe you've got young children and you need something that's a little bit flexible. So today's podcast episode is all about the importance of using your time wisely. And your time is your most valuable commodity. You cannot buy any more of it. You won't get it back. I think it's important that we think about how we're using our time. So the first thing that we were going to talk about was understanding your client preferences and demands, because at the end of the day, you are delivering a service and you need to be mindful of what your clients need, and to check and see if that actually fits with what you want to deliver. So you need to have a think about your clients' preferences, their demands and their patterns, and to work out how those can fit into your optimal working hours. So firstly, look and think about the persona of your clients. Are they all busy working themselves? Are they all going to be busy 9 to 5? So they're only going to be able to see you during evenings and weekends. If that's the case, then it's going to be difficult for you to fill your working hour days. So you need to be having a think about that. The other thing is, when do your clients actually want to book in? So they might want to be booking in with you and speaking to you about finding your availability during evenings and weekends, which might not be a time that you're actually working. So for that sort of thing, to leverage your time, an online booking system is a great idea. Hayley and I have talked about that in a previous podcast. But what about times when clients do want to see you and you feel that it's a little bit of a time when it's a stretch for you, maybe evenings and, as I say, weekends? At those times, it might be that you only offer a couple of evenings. You don't want to be working every evening because you've got a young family or a partner that you want to see during the week. So I know when I had my physio practice, we used to open 2 evenings a week, and we used to do Saturday mornings only up until 12 o'clock. But when I started to realise there was a lot of demand for those sort of peak hours, I would call it, we were able to increase our charges that we levied at those times. And we were also able to charge a premium for early morning appointments, anything that we did before 8 o'clock. And I know that offering early morning or late evening appointments to accommodate those clients with busy schedules who are busy working either in city jobs or office jobs or whatever, they're often at a level of income where they are affording to be able to pay a little bit extra for those appointments that you're charging because they're premium appointment times. Is that something you've come across, Hayley, before, charging, as having a different charging structure for different hours or different times that you're working, or do you charge a blanket amount whenever the appointment is given?
We charge a blanket amount, to be fair, in the salon, but I have worked with people who have charged more for premium. I think if your business model allows it, and you want to run with it, I think it can be a great way to, to encourage people to come in the day. I think as well, there's another way you can switch it. So sometimes clients can feel like, well, why am I being penalized for working? So instead of saying, we charge extra for a premium appointment, you could actually offer a midday discount. So you could set your prices so that the minimum price is the standard price, and you're still charging a premium for the evening ones, but just switch the terminology and the mindset in which your client receives it, because nobody wants to think they're being penalized. So if you switch it and disguise the higher price as a discount, does that make sense, what I'm trying to say there?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think I was that savvy back when I was running my physio practice 25 years ago. We just had a different pricing structure. We had evenings and weekends and early morning pricing, and then we had daytime pricing. And I suppose it's like peak and off peak. I think
Yes.
people are quite familiar with paying different prices on public transport or those sorts of things. So I guess we were offering something like that 25 years ago, but it was in my physio
I
practice.
think that's great, but I think when there's a different mindset with medical treatments as well. So I've got the wellbeing centre and I've got a salon, and I do think that with it being a physio practice, I think people, and it kind of goes under anything that's health wise. I think you can command a little bit more authority with those sort of things. Whereas when it comes to hair and beauty, sometimes people see it as a luxury item rather than a necessity. So I think the switch on the mindset of how you present that to the client sometimes work, because obviously if you want to get in with a physio and your back's hurting and whatever, you'll pay whatever. Whereas if you want to have a colour and cut, like, what do you mean you're charging me more for coming in the evening? So I don't think you get that level of resistance. Different industries are very interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. And certainly I remember when I was growing up, my granny used to go and get her hair done on a certain day. I don't know if they do pensioners Thursdays or something but is that still a thing in the industry?
In some salons, yes, but not in my salon.
Okay, so with regards to setting up your business for your hours, your time, your business, etc., how realistic is it for a new business owner to be able to just work the hours that they want to do? Do you think that's a real thing that's possible for people? Is that a utopia, or am I being ridiculous thinking that someone can set up a business and just decide exactly which hours they work and then their clients will come?
I think I think it's possible. I think it's more difficult. I think the amount of people who are available to attend an appointment in the evenings or a weekend, obviously there's more clients that time's accessible for them. So whether it be childcare demands or the fact that they're not at work. I mean, a lot of people now have flexible working since the pandemic. So we do see a lot of people coming to their treatments with their laptops, or, if it's a service that has a processing time and things like that. So people's habits have changed. But I definitely think when I'm seeing new businesses starting out, especially a lot of the work that I do, because I'm fortunate to work with practitioners as well as hair and beauty professionals. So I see it on I've got quite a good grasp on different types of industries that are all service-based providers. And yeah, I think I get a lot of practitioners that try and just set up their practice in the daytime, and it is a slow burner unless you are mastering your marketing and your messaging, and you're presenting that in a way that it suits your client. Whereas if it's just a case of, I only want to work the school hours, this is when I'm available, there is the danger that they'll just go and find somebody that's got a time that's more suitable, unless they specifically can see from your branding, your messaging, what you're doing and how amazing you are. So I think, you perhaps need to invest more in your marketing if that's what you want to do.
I think it also depends on how established a practitioner you are and whether you've got a loyal customer base, because I think once you have built that loyal customer base and you have that rapport and you've started to get some longevity of clients coming to see you on a regular basis. I know that if you were to move salons or you were to move, location, as long as it's not sort of to outer Mongolia, clients will often follow you and they will often reorganize their schedule to be able to come and see you at a time to suit you once they have that rapport with you and they know that you deliver a really good service, because they don't want to go anywhere else. So clients do become a lot more flexible if you have a change of circumstances. And I know that people that have got a long list of clients that have been seeing them for many years, if that practitioner goes off and has a baby or something like that, and then they come back to work and they're on a reduced work schedule and they can only do childcare hours or whatever during the day, those people that are their clients will adapt their schedule to make sure that they can come and see them during those different hours. Has that been
Yeah.
your experience when they've got a
Oh
loyal
yeah.
client base?
Definitely, yes. Once you've built up your clientele and you've established it, then it's far easier then to go and dictate the hours in which you want to work. But when you're first setting out, I think you have to have a catch-all approach, and a couple of late nights and a weekend will really help you build up, because you will catch all your clients in those different time slots. And then I always like to say that you filter them then into your quieter slots. So you catch them in your peak hours, and then you find out who actually can come to you during daytimes and get them in the daytime slots. Get them out of the evening and the peak slots as quickly as you possibly can do. You will find that some obviously have to come in those peak slots, and that's absolutely fine. But once you've built up your clientele, I mean, if I went back into the salon and said, I'll do your hair at 10 o'clock at night, I'd probably have clients that go, okay, you know, they'll literally, you know, once you have built your clientele up, they'll move for you, they'll follow you, you know, especially, you know, you've obviously got to be very good at your job and deliver an excellent, good level of service. But yeah, once you've done the groundwork, then your clientele is built up for life.
Yeah, I agree. And then it's just renewing the few people that move away and replacing those. But I know certainly when Megan opened up her online booking calendar, she was absolutely packed out to capacity. And she said, Mum, I won't be able to take any new clients on at the moment. So she said, I don't really want to use an online booking system and find that I get lots of new clients booking in if I allow anybody, any Tom, Dick and Harry to start booking in their appointments with me. So we actually put a button inside the Pocket PA online booking diary, which meant that only existing clients that are already on Megan's Pocket PA database could actually book online with her. So anybody that was new had to actually go through her first for her to add them into the system for them to be able to access her online booking system. Now, that's obviously a really nice position to be in where you are so booked to capacity that you can't take on any new clients. But I think you need to be mindful, particularly when you're offering services which need you to come back and have repeat services. So Megan does lashes. So she wants to have her clients coming in, whether it's for an infill or for a full set, every sort of between 2 to 5 weeks, really, depending on whether they're having infills or full set. So if she kept booking in more and more new clients, that would eventually mean that she wouldn't have any slots for her existing clients to get their regular maintenance appointments. So for her, she needs to be very careful balancing out taking on new clients when she's got a full book of people, because otherwise if people can't book in their regular maintenance slots, then they will start dropping off. So I think that small feature inside a booking software tool, where if you are booked to capacity because you've got a loyal client base and you're only being able to take on 1 or 2 new clients per month and you want them to go directly through you before they can book, I think that's a really important feature that you perhaps want to look out for on an online booking system. Have you come across that where people can't take on new clients because they literally are so packed out? Nice problem to have.
Yeah, it is. It is a great problem to have, but it's something that you need to plan for and mitigate. It is a great problem to have, but it's something that you need to plan for in your business. So yeah, you have to be really careful. You also have to be a little bit careful about closing your books, as you've touched on as well, because you will get clients that naturally migrate somewhere else, or if clients have children or their jobs change or something happens in their lifestyle, which means that they either don't need your services as regularly or they move away. Then, you know, I think there's a percentage, I think it's something like you might lose 10 to 20% of clients on average per year just through that natural shedding of clients. You're very fortunate if you don't have that problem, but I think you should always plan for it. So it's a good way to, you should really always have a wait list in operation. So even if you're not taking on new clients, have a wait list there, because like I say, all of a sudden you can find that your clients get really cheesed off because you're too busy. You know, I've had stylists in the past, and I've myself had that problem where I've just been too busy and my clients don't have enough flexibility, you know, and I'm packed out, and, you know, I wasn't prepared to work any more hours. So yeah, you do, you know, once you are fully booked, you then get a new set of problems that are the nights to have problems. But, you know, you do have to have systems in place to mitigate those as well.
Yeah. And also, while we're talking about systems in place, I think it's important with an online booking system, it allows your clients to be able to book in their appointments at a time that's convenient for them. So often you're not working evenings and weekends, and when you're actually physically delivering the service, you can't take calls and do messages and stuff. So allowing your clients that flexibility to book in when it's convenient for them to want to address, oh, I need to be booking my hair, I need to be booking my nails, I want to book the dentist, whatever it is, if they have the option to be able to book it at a time that's convenient for them to actually schedule the appointment, that is offering another up level of a service, which is also convenient for your client. They might like that, particularly because it means that they don't have to keep remembering to do it in the day when they're super busy with their other work tasks. They might always be doing their life admin at 10 o'clock in the evening, which is not a time that you're working. So offering that online booking service is often an upside for people to be able to have that autonomy to be able to book themselves in with you at a time that's convenient for you, to save you that back and forth of consistent messaging. Now, time blocking is another thing that we sometimes talk about. I know time blocking isn't necessarily a common thing in service-based industries, but when you're trying to get a good work-life balance, time blocking can be really valuable. So with regards to time blocking, I think time blocking can be really useful where you dedicate specific blocks of time for specific tasks that you might want to do in your business. Now, you've obviously got all your customer service, customer facing tasks that you're going to be doing where you're actually delivering the service. But time blocking can really come in useful when you actually have to do some of your admin or your operational tasks. So you might set yourself some time blocking tasks. So once a week, you spend 30-40 minutes to check through all of your stock, your items that you've got for the upcoming week. You might block out some time for checking some of your bank transfers and your financial tasks. So checking that you've got all your income and your expenses tracked, that sort of thing. So I think if you put these aspects into your diary and you recognize that they are time that you need to spend in order to make sure that your business is operating successfully and to make sure that everything is running smoothly, then I think it's important that you actually factor out those times and put them into your diary and block them out as times, just as it might be a client-facing appointment, but you allocate yourself enough time so that you don't become overwhelmed and you don't get behind, you don't feel that you're just sinking instead of swimming in your business. So that's what I mean by time blocking. And I think that it's important to recognize that to have a good work-life balance, you need to allocate periods of time into your diary to cover off those operational aspects of your business. And then the last thing that I thought Hayley and I would chat about today is adjusting your work hours at different times to suit the different things that are going on in your life. Obviously, you need to be regularly evaluating lots of things going on in your business and making adjustments and changes based on your own personal circumstances and the needs of your business. But to get really good work-life balance, I think it's important that you make time, whether it's once a week, once a month, once every quarter at a minimum, to be able to see how things are feeling in your business, to feel whether you're stretched at both ends and you're, burning the midnight oil and you're literally doing too many hours and you need to cut back, whether it is you're doing an extra evening too many or whether you just need to have a half day on a Friday. What's your experience, Hayley, when you sort of think about adjusting time and balancing things to get a better work-life balance? How does that feed into looking at your time tasks?
I think that you have to be really, really mindful. And as we've touched on earlier in this episode, I think you have to make sure that you're putting your personal and your business priorities into your work diary. So I think it all feeds into one another really when, the time blocking, the tracking, booking that time out for your business is essential to make sure that you've got time to look at those metrics, to look at your numbers. So you can basically, if you're reviewing it every week or every month, and just have a look, how busy are you? Is what you're doing working? It might be that you need to add an extra evening in. So I think by regularly evaluating things and adjusting your work hours, I think you can tie that into your goal setting as well of what we've touched on before. So I think it's really important. If you're not looking at your business, then you don't know if you're on track. You don't know where you're going. So for example, if you've decided that you want to go on a holiday, for example, and you think, oh my goodness, I've got, I don't know, £4,000 to try and make because it's a really, really fancy holiday. It might be for an anniversary or something. And, you've put that budget aside. If you haven't booked that time out to evaluate where you are, then, it might be that you've only got, I don't know, 6 weeks until you're going and you've still got £1,000 left to pay. You could do an extra evening, or you could even work a random Sunday. Okay, I'm not advocating working Sundays, but at the end of the day, if that's going to get you the holiday of your dreams, it's really nice to actually look at your business and make your business work for you, because we'll all work extra hours before we go on holiday to pay for that time to have off. So by evaluating it, you've got to kind of have one eye on your business and one eye on your personal to make sure that your personal is your business is working for your personal life, because otherwise you could just be working and 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 never getting anywhere. How do you know? You need to book that time out and you need to have a look at it. Otherwise it becomes quite draining and quite soul destroying.
Yeah, and I love it that you've brought that back to the goal setting, because that reminds me of the podcast that we did a couple of weeks ago, and where we talked about the goal setting inside Pocket PA. We talked about not just measuring your financial goals. Pocket PA automatically on the dashboard measures how many appointment bookings you've got this week week and this month, and then it compares it to what you had last week and last month. And I know if you have a paper diary, there's no, you'll have to just keep counting up all of those appointments. And so you don't become familiar with a metric like that. And you do need to measure things. I always say you can't manage what you don't measure. So if you're measuring things and you have a quick system like Pocket PA that will enable you to see exactly what the average number of appointments is that you have per week or per month, you'll be able to see very quickly and easily whether you're dipping below it or you're going above it, and to be able to decide, how does that make me feel? I function really well on 29 appointments a week, and goodness, I've had 35 this week. Actually, I felt okay, and look what a difference it's made to my income dial. Look how much more I've been able to earn. Would I be able to sustain doing this? So you then reset and have a new norm where in fact you're aiming for 35 appointments per week because you know it will give you X amount of income. But if you're doing 35 and you think, oh my goodness, I cannot function at this level, 29 is my number, you can be more mindful and think, gosh, I have a cutoff and that's the maximum that I can see. And it's about, all about balancing your business and your personal life to be able to find the best fit, because this is your business. This is what you're deciding to do with your time. And if it doesn't work for you, then there's no point carrying on. As I said before in a previous episode, you don't want to replace a 40-hour employed role with an 80-hour self-employed role and find that you're burning out, because there's no quality of life and nobody wants a breakdown in their own business. That's not an ideal at all, is it?
No. And even pushing the wrong type of services, you have to be really careful. I remember years ago, I was packed out on a Saturday with loads of children's haircuts. And I think I did like 80 quid that day, and I'd normally do hundreds of pounds in a day. And we're going back a very long time, and all my clients were like, oh, but I really want you to do my child's haircut. And I think I was charging like £8 for a kid's haircut, and I used to book out half an hour in the diary. I mean, it's ridiculous thinking back. And I got home and I was like,
exhausted.
I can't do kids haircuts. Thank God they all booked in on the same day, otherwise I might not have even picked that up because I was so busy in the trenches in my business. It not even occurred to me. So the first thing I did was double them, so they went to £16. And honestly, there was a few people who were like, oh, I don't know about that. And I was like, £16 for 30 minutes of my time was still ridiculous. It was still not what should have been happening. So in the end, I started charging full adult price with just a percentage discount off as sort of a goodwill gesture. And they all went to my younger team. Some went elsewhere, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Sometimes you have to let go of that, because I was still giving the same amount of work as I would have been for an adult. It was quite stressful if you got one that, wasn't, that was a bit older and wouldn't sit still and wanted quite a complicated haircut. It wasn't just like a kiddie trim. We're talking like skin fade.
I would imagine doing 12 children's haircuts on a Saturday would be absolute carnage. That would really stress your levels out. You would have had a large packet of paracetamol next to you.
Yeah, I don't quite know how it happened, but yeah, I never did it again anyway. But you do have to be careful. So if you are a therapist or a hairdresser, if there is something in your service menu that you're having to put an awful lot of effort or an awful lot of time into, and it's not giving you a good enough return on, a good enough return in profits, just have a look out for that as well. And the more you look at your reporting, the more you'll start to notice patterns. So even if you find it really fries your brain looking at these numbers, because I know there's so many out there that do feel like it's just something that you don't want to do, you want to avoid it, stick your head in the sand like an ostrich. Please just look at them. Even if you don't understand them, the more you look at them, the more you'll understand, the more you'll notice, and all of a sudden just things will pop out at you from the reporting page, and you'll notice patterns and you'll think, my God, that doesn't make me any money, or my God, I've spent ages doing that service and that really wasn't the best use of my time. Or you might have a massive light bulb moment where you go, flipping heck, I've earned a fortune this week and I feel like I've done very little. And that's the service that you need to lead with.
Yeah, 100%. And one of the reporting features we have in Pocket PA is to actually measure how many client facing hours you are doing per week. And you're absolutely right. You don't get an impression just from 1 week. You need to be looking at building those trends and seeing how it is over those weeks and those months and over the year to see what your averages are, and also to correlate it to how it makes you feel. Because As we said right at the get-go, time is your most precious commodity. We all think that it's money in the bank or whatever. Money will enable you to buy more time, as in be able to giving you that freedom. But hours and days and weeks and months and things, we can't get them back. Once they're spent, they're gone forever. And we need to be really concentrated and concerted in our efforts as to how we're choosing to spend our time, because life is so short.
It is.
Anyway, I hope you have had lots of takeaways from today's episode with Hayley and myself. We will be back again next week on the Earn More Stress Less podcast. Have a wonderful week, whatever it is you're doing, and we will catch up with you again very soon.
See you next week.
Thank you so much for listening today to the Earn More Stress Less podcast with me, Caro Sison, and my co-host Hayley Hudson. If you've enjoyed this week's episode, then do hit subscribe so we can catch up again soon. And please kindly leave a review if you've got a moment and share with anyone else that you think this podcast could help on their self-employed journey. If you're ready to make bigger breakthroughs in your business life and want to get way more organised and understand your finances the really simple way, then start your very own 14-day free trial today using the super powerful software tool Pocket PA that I made for my own son and daughter. Go to pocketpa.com/podcast and let's get you on the way to earning more money and stressing much less. Have a great week, whatever you're doing.